Hello, everyone. It's a beautiful day. I love, oh, is that on? Oh, I don't think so, because it's not. Like it's not flashing or anything.
Maybe it's light out and you can't see us.
Oh, maybe.
No, it doesn't.
No,
It's on.
you know what?
Oh,
Demo didn't have he plugged it up. There we
Oh.
go. Thank you.
yes, thank you. I can carry on?
Yes, you may.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. It is Monday, 2000. It is now 6:03 p.m. and I will call the meeting into order.
Thank you. Thank you for that. 1 second. We need to change the camera. Thank you for that. Thank you. There you go.
Okay.
All right, let's hook with these now. So we will do, the meeting has been called to order. We will have a roll call. Commissioner Smith,
Here.
Commissioner Wolf is absent, Commissioner Zakos,
Here.
Commissioner Decker,
Here.
Commissioner McPherson,
Here.
Commissioner Cousins is absent, and Commissioner Wolf. Already mentioned her. So we do have a quorum and we will proceed. Old business, I did send out the minutes, and I sent a notification today. Hopefully everybody had a chance to review it. If not, you can take a second to review it.
I did look it over.
Okay. If everything is in order, can I get a motion may I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I will make that motion.
Second.
Any questions?
For concerns.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, any opposed? No, the ayes have it. And approve accounts payable for March 2024.
Thanks, everybody. I looked
Any
it over.
questions?
Push it over quickly. Tim.
May I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Commissioner Smith makes the motion,
Seconded.
Commissioner Zako seconds. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Zako?
Sorry. Aye. I was reading. I got engrossed in this.
No problem. The ayes have it. At this time, is there a resident commissioners report? Do you mind? Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
At this time, is there a resident commissioners report?
No,
Ms. McPherson, have anything?
just
No.
do the double doors right here. Do the double doors right here.
Ms. McPherson, do you have anything?
No.
Okay, at this time, there's no residents commissioner report, and I'll move to the executive director report, which will be brief. And by the way, if you have any questions, team from, Monco is on the line. She's not on camera, but she is on the line because she's traveling. Okay, so for the executive director report for April 15th, 2024, we have submitted a modification request. HHA has submitted a modification request to HUD for our current RAD deal as we work to gain their support for development. They are reviewing the request and other things that we're been dealing with. As such, they will be coming to the property in May to have a face-to-face meeting with me. Second, our inspections were completed. It was successfully completed. We got in all the units we needed to get into, and we're waiting for the results. However, all of the emergency repairs, the 24 hours repairs were completed in that time. All right, and after the inspection, each day the inspector leaves the 24-hour emergency repairs so that we can handle them right away because we have to do it in that time frame. So those were completed.
Was there a lot of them?
It was about, and I'll get an exact number for you, but just off the top of my head, it was about 10, which is not bad at all. Honestly, I've seen much more, so it wasn't bad. Yeah, but I'll check that and I'll actually report that out in the next meeting to give a more accurate number. Also, the Restore project, a Restore application has been submitted, as we mentioned in the previous meeting. So myself, Commissioner Smith, and Monco will be going to the council meeting on tomorrow, to present to the, council. There are two, groups, ourselves and another group that will be presenting, and so we're hoping that, on April 24th, 26th, actually, I think it is, they're gonna have a special meeting, and hopefully they will decide and choose our project and push it forward to be support. It is a city meeting, you're welcome to come. I would encourage it, all residents to come and show the support, because we are trying to get this money, for our project, so we can continue moving forward. Lastly, as I told you in the meeting, the previous meeting, that we would have an audit report. However, the free accountant was not able to make it today because he was traveling. So he will definitely be in the main meeting, and he will present the audit report to us at that time. And that is it for the executive director report.
I actually had a question. When you were talking about the inspection. So can you just explain a little bit more when you said about there was about 10 units, then why?
Not 10 units, about 10 emergency repairs.
Sorry.
Sometimes some units have multiple repairs.
Okay, so multiple people have asked, why did they fail? And when it was minor things that it's not even them or their units, it was more the fact that it was the buildings issues.
Yes.
So why were they able to fail us as tenants to make us feel like we were the problem and not the buildings?
So that's an excellent question. Thank you for bringing that up. So to better explain it, there are inspection protocols, and you can fail for a number of reasons. The residents, is my understanding, always want to know whether they passed or failed, rightfully so. And as I've told residents, because I haven't gotten a report yet, and I'll give them further information, you want to know whether we're going to tell you whether you failed, your apartment failed, and it was an issue that the building has to correct, and we will put those work orders in the system and get it on it. Or if it was a housekeeping issue or something that was resident caused. But we all have a part to play in it. So instead of the office bombarding us, the residents bombarding the office, we left notifications and that's also for our tracking. Once the inspector told us whether the unit passed or failed, and we left that information on a small sheet. We didn't give the reason, we just let you know what he let us know, whether you passed or failed. And so as the report comes in, I'll be able to provide more detailed information.
Well, I'm gonna throw myself underneath the bus. So nobody feels like I'm targeting anybody. It was because I wasn't home, my daughter was.
Yes,
So my things that I failed, and it's not my fault, because I did make a work order about a year ago because of the door. But when they did the walkthrough, when I moved into that apartment, they already knew that the door had issues.
okay.
So, it wasn't like my daughter punched a hole in it or whatever. It was, when you shut it, it doesn't click. That was the one that supposedly I failed on, and the refrigerator that I failed on. Because it was out, I guess it was one of the old ones, I guess. So that's what I'm seeing, cause she just said, well, it's in your unit.
Yes.
I get it, I rent the apartment, I get it, but it's not like I busted the
That's
refrigerator.
correct. And you've helped me so much tonight. I'm glad you brought the refrigerator up, because that's another thing. Because the Commissioner Smith, was contacted and reminded us that we had a grant that was out there that was not used. And so unfortunately, the housing authority had to spend the money for it first, but we've purchased new refrigerators, about 53. We're waiting for the delivery of 11 more. So we're going to use those inspection reports of where people have failed with the refrigerators. We're going to be replacing the refrigerators. So that's part of the inspection protocol. We go to the apartment, we need to make sure that it's up to standard. We get that information, we put work orders in the system, and not you, but all residents
Yeah.
don't always complain about the issues, or sometimes it may be something that may not be up to protocol that they don't even recognize. That's why we have an outside vendor to do the report, and once they come in, they put the they give us the information, we put the work orders in the system, and then we begin to slowly but truly make those repairs and bring it up to standard as best we can.
Yeah, I have one question too.
Yes,
You know, they should start putting some new stoves in the building too. You got some people's stove is nasty looking. Really disgusted, nasty.
When you say nasty looking, is it nasty because they're not cleaning it, or is it nasty? Cause when you say somebody should get a
You know,
new,
when somebody moved to an
stove.
apartment, right, we moved to an apartment, supposed to clean the stove was good.
Yes,
You know what I mean? When I
absolutely.
moved my apartment, my stove was not clean good.
Okay,
was
that's
nasty.
what I'm
Yeah,
asking,
it
yeah,
was nasty.
okay,
And at the bottom of it there too, it was not clean outright.
Okay.
either. You know, it's
Yeah.
nasty too,
yes,
you know?
that's a problem, yes.
Right, you know, they should give me something different in it, cause I'm a clean person, I'm not a nasty person.
Yeah.
I was on the second floor, my store was clean. Now you
Mhm.
got me on the sixth floor, and the store is nasty looking, nasty,
Thank you for that.
look there,
so
you
Commissioner
know?
McPherson, you know,
Yes,
you
sir.
brought some issues to me about your apartment, and I made sure that they were taken care of. This is the very first time that I'm hearing about your story.
Yeah,
So just,
nasty.
so listen, just going forward, please make sure, don't wait on that, something like that. Like you told me about the other issues you had, and I had them taken care of right away, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Okay, so if you would have told me about that, I would have been able to come look at the apartment. You've now been in the apartment for several months now, and you know, we would need to evaluate that. But
Yeah,
we'll,
so-
we'll see what we can do.
Cause I thought I could do it on my own, you know?
Okay.
Like I
well,
told
we'll
you
see what
about
we
my
can do.
tub, tub is looking disgusted too. I clean my tub every day, clean it, and the stuff still coming up, looking disgusted still.
Mhm.
You know, like I told people, like I'm a clean person.
Yes,
I don't like a filthy, nasty place. I'm a clean person.
yes.
I like my place nice and clean and neat. In case somebody comes in, want to inspect my apartment and stuff,
Yeah,
you know, I want
Yeah.
to keep it nice and neat.
absolutely,
Yeah,
and
you know,
you should
just,
be able
just in
to.
case your brother come over.
Oh,
Yeah. Can you hold it till then? Is that, you sure? You're not gonna forget? Huh? 'Cause we're almost there. Thank you. So, yeah, so, but again, those are also reasons why we have, you know, the inspection for that reason.
Yeah.
Because somewhere, sometimes the ball gets dropped, and this is why you have HUD, who puts these protocols in place. So that
Yeah.
we can, it's like a check and balance to make sure that we have decent, safe, and sanitary housing.
I just
Yeah.
want the people to respect of their apartment.
I.
You know, I
I-
wanna make sure the apartment, I wanna make sure the stove is nice and neat,
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
you know, cause you never know. They might come and inspect it again.
That's
Cause one person came back and told me, they opened a store it's nasty. She said she's trying her best to clean it out.
Mhm.
You know, so I'm gonna talk to you about that detail.
And I hope that going forward somewhere in, Miss, Commissioner's, cousin mentioned healthy homes,
Yeah,
prior, and I hope we can get them down there. Even if they could just do a seminar.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, and this is, listen, everybody, we all don't know everything,
right.
right? And so when you cook, and some people in particular, and some people are not. I have
Yeah.
to be one of those people. When I cook, I wipe my stove off. If you don't,
Mhm.
Yeah,
right, that stuff builds up.
it does.
And it gets harder and harder to clean,
sure
and,
does.
and it looks bad, and so
It
we,
does.
we're supposed to, you were supposed to wipe your stuff off,
Yeah.
your stove off after every, you know, meal, wash your dishes, all of those things
Yeah.
are some basic housekeeping to keep your place nice, but everybody does not do that.
And how
So-
come we have to pay for the Miller thing, on the stove
She's
thing?
talking about the drip pans.
Yeah, why you gotta pay for that? You know?
I'm uncertain, I'm not.
Yeah, cause that's what they told me, that if I want new, I gotta pay like $25,
Yeah,
and that is my apartment,
so come see me, I'm not familiar with what
you
you're
know, that's
speaking
my
about,
apartment, man,
and
why I gotta
and
pay
let's see
$25 for?
Let's see what's happening.
You know?
Because I don't want to give you a bad answer, I want to give you a nice clarified answer.
I'll help you out. You wanna know why you gotta pay for it?
Why?
Cause it's your stove, you make the mess, that's what they're
The
gonna do.
people
Oh,
like
the
that, when I
drip
moved.
The drip
No.
pans, that's what we're talking about, the drip pans, like underneath the burner.
Yeah, it was
So it's a
like that when I moved,
replacement.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
like that when I moved into that apartment, it was like that. And I told Mike about it too, Mike told me clean it with some bleach, how much clean with some bleach? You gotta put that in the sink for overnight. To get all that stuff out of there, you know what I mean? Yeah,
Well, this is great feedback, it
Yes.
really is,
yeah,
Yep.
it really is,
It is.
especially for the maintenance people, because let me tell you, when I go to conference, I be going to those maintenance ones, and they tell you all the products you should be getting to make it, you know, when you turn up,
Yeah.
over, so like, this is great,
Yeah.
this is
So we will
Great.
definitely follow up on it. Thank you for that information.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But what I wanted to say to you, Mary, because I'm so glad you mentioned that about the inspection, because I got a lot of feedback from people, but they were saying that their concerns were the inspection people were saying that the structure, they failed because a lot of the structures, obviously that doesn't have to do with them, but you know, this is great for you to be able to explain the inspection to some tenants and let them know that it's not, it might not even have to do with you, you know,
Yeah.
the reason of you failing.
So it's a good question. Thank you. for that.
Yes,
Right.
so thank you for that.
And the next order of business was a resolution, but if I could just move up public comment, because I don't want the residents that had something to say, you wanted to say something, and then you can go next.
I'm going to know, is this a different company that they used this year?
Yes,
Yes.
well, I don't know what other company, but this is a new company.
No, because last year, I passed. But they put in work orders, that was the building's fault.
Oh, I don't know.
You understand what I
Yeah,
mean?
you weren't inspected last year, but
No.
you mean the last time you were inspected? No, they weren't inspected.
Maybe by the housing authority? Is she speaking of?
Was it by the housing authority?
No, it was, so it wasn't last year, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
So the
I-
last time you were inspected,
Yeah,
But-
I passed
Right.
for housekeeping and this and that, but the building had work orders, they never put in a fail to me.
Mhm.
That's why I wanted to know, was it a different company?
right, it is a different company, but all we did was let you know the status of whether the apartment failed or not. I'm gonna give more specific information, and so if you fail for reasons, once I get the report, if you fail for something that you're accountable for, then I'm gonna notify you of that. And if it's something that we have to take care of, we're gonna put the work orders in the system and correct it.
And, can we get a printout of what all this stuff costs, like the shades and toilet seats and?
You want an updated charge list?
Yes,
Yes,
because,
ma'am.
you know, we're being trouble, we're asking for stuff, and, you know, and then we're getting bills, and we're like, what the hell is that for?
I'll
Mhm.
definitely,
Very nice,
again,
yeah.
another great
Thank you
question,
for
so I'll
that.
make sure that that
Mhm.
comes out, okay? Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I was gonna ask about the shades too.
Same thing? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
And
So-
I really, in my bathroom, you know, it's things is the sign, right? And.
Yes, I heard you, go ahead.
And you know, when you take, like me, I'm too old to be sitting down in the tub and I don't have that bar to put.
You
it
need
in.
grab up bars?
Yeah.
So you can write a letter, we would call that a reasonable accommodation. And you will write a letter, presented to the office requesting that information, requesting that reasonable accommodation. If you need something additional, like a medical documentation or whatever, I'll let you know. And I'm just saying the policy in general right now, so that for everybody's edification, but I'll let you know, and we will work on getting that taken care of.
Okay, so what about the sign on the wall,
The code base,
Yeah.
what's wrong with the code base?
Mine is terrible. Some, you know, it was.
Do me a favor, come see me Wednesday, or call, matter of fact, you don't need to get up and come down. Call me up, say, hey, you told me to call you, can you come up and look at my email? Let me come take a look myself, and you can point out everything there, okay?
Come off a couple times. to look at my
Yep,
stuff.
But I'll come take a look at it, okay?
Okay.
Anything else? That would have been our public comment section. And again, I thank you and appreciate your feedback this evening, and we're gonna move on to our only resolution this evening, which is for the updated administrative plan changes. So as you know, we have a resolution, so we're changing our administrative plan as mandated by HUD. There is a elongated process to ensure that the public is informed. We had to put the information out, and we had it in our office. I put an article in the paper, had to have a 45-day comment period. Some of you were here for the public hearing, but now at this point, we have to present it to the board, and so they need to vote on it.
Sorry,
Again,
what? My stepsister.
I'm sorry.
Again, they're mandated changes and they have to happen. And so we're gonna be voting on that because we need to be in compliance by January, but our compliance date is April. So this, believe it or not, these changes have been out the law has been out since 2016, and HUD has been slowly but truly doing things to get everything up to par and make sure every component of the law is in place. And so now they're pushing the compliance date for all housing authorities, and we are now, at that point. So, to that point, resolution number 546 is whereas the purpose of the administrative plan is to establish policies for carrying out the housing choice voucher program in a manner consistent with HUD regulations. Whereas the Hudson Housing Authority is responsible for complying with all changes in HUD regulations pertaining to the program. Whereas the Hudson Housing Authority will revise the administrative plan as needed to comply with mandated changes in HUD regulations. Further resolved that the Board of Commissioners for the Hudson Housing Authority hereby approves the attached summary of changes to the existing administrative plan. And I've included them. If there's a question, I can go to that, but there are literally about 15 to 20 changes. But if there's something, I can read through them if you like, but if there's something specific you want to ask, I can address it. So any questions?
What I was just gonna ask is if, from your perspective as someone who's familiar with these in general and a specific one, when you read through this, were there any changes in policies or anything here in the chart of changes that stuck out to you as that's a significant change from the way we've been doing business or the way that this has?
So
Policies
there
manifest
there are a number of changes that are, and let me say this, the changes are specifically for eligibility, income, and qualifications. And so there are a number of changes that some are more beneficial to the housing authority in terms of how we and then less of a hassle to the residents. For example, when people come into the program, they typically have to sign what we call the 9886 form, which is a release of authorization for a release of information form. And typically that form is signed at every recertification period because it's only good for 15 months. Now, once you sign it, it's good for the duration of your tenancy until you're terminated or unfortunately pass away if you're in the program that long. That's one thing. There's something that's going to be completely beneficial is that our deductions are going from 400 to 480 for each dependent. And for elderly and disabled, it used to be 400, it's going to $525. So that is a deduction that you get off of your rent when we adjust your income. So that's a deduction that you get that's going to be effective January 1st. There's also, HUD has expanded the definition of a family, not to just, it is not limited to husband, wife. It doesn't include familial status and sexual orientation. So they've expanded it to make sure that, people are being captured because we have different types of families. One of the things that Commissioner Smith in particular asked for, this is not mandated, but this is the time to do it. And so we're taking advantage of it again. It'll be effective in January. We're adding a weighted preference to people, for people who live and work in Hudson. So when they apply for housing, as opposed to other people applying out of state, they'll get an extra point. So it'll automatically bump them up further than somebody from out of town. And that's something that we spoke about. All right, so just things like that. But if there was something, this one might be tough for people, but it is mandated. We used to be a 3% threshold. Okay. There used to be a 3% threshold for medical deductions, for unreimbursed medical. The government has mandated that be changed to 10%. And so that will make it more difficult for folks to qualify for those unreimbursed medical deductions. But at the same time, with a reasonable explanation, we have a mechanism where people can talk about a hardship and it'll be for a period of time. And we can, make some decisions on whether we can continue to allow it for a period if it's going to cause hardship. So there's nothing that jumped out that was like outrageous, because if it was, I would say like, hey, be alert, like this is something like that's one of those things. But we will also be informing, people at their recertification period. So
Of that particular,
of those different items, we'll let them know what those changes will be. Yep,
that's what I was gonna say, is just if there were any tenants who didn't have the time or capacity to take this all in, which,
Oh, sure.
which would be easy, if there was anything that, could be perceived as detrimental or difficult.
we will
Going
definitely,
forward.
because we have to, that's part of what we would consider the interview process, so we have to let the residents know what the new regulations are. So in terms of being able to comment, they've obviously missed that moment, but when we're gonna tell them what's important, hey, you need to know that this is different. Another thing is, for example, there's, we used to do, recertifications if your income increased over, or interim recertification if your income increased like $2,400. Now the threshold is 10%. So depending upon what you make, that may be an advantage or a disadvantage too. But again, we'll let folks know that upon their new period. The whole idea of those things, by the way, are to lessen the administrative burden, so we don't have to do so many recertifications. And also give some to, God bless you. Okay, any other questions? We have a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Commissioner Smith makes the motion. Commissioner, who will second?
I'll second it.
There you go.
Commissioner Decker, second. I'll take a roll call vote. Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Cousins is not here. Commissioner Wolf is not here. Commissioner Zakos,
Aye.
Commissioner Decker,
Aye.
Commissioner McPherson.
Aye.
Commissioner Decker, are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah,
certain?
okay, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So that the motion carries. And at this time, if there's nothing further, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that
Oh, wait.
motion. Oh,
Before we
no.
do,
Okay.
and since,
I thought he was trying to beat you.
no. Since we're at the end of our meeting, and I don't want to hold anybody up, and I would like to see if we could quickly do an executive session to talk about a personnel issue.
Oh, okay.
It'll be quick, but I just don't think it should be talked about
Okay,
in the public meeting, but there's nothing else on the agenda, so we can make it clear to everybody
Okay.
on the meeting that if anybody doesn't want to log back on or come back into the room, we won't be dealing with anymore.
okay, so.
Is that okay?
Make the motion?
Motion to go into executive session to talk about a personnel issue?
I will second.
It's been properly moved and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are now going into the session. Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you, guys.
Thank you.
Always good to honor Ms. Hedgepath, one of the
Yeah.
longest residents in the building.
Yay.
That's one thing you should check on. Will be the only building.
There we go.